All right, you got to keep going.
Thank you.
Here's the wall.
If you come over here, you can see where some of those stalactites and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So we are like caves. We do get stalactites that form on the ceiling and stalagmites that form on the floor. But all these
Okay.
colors that have come in, these are more gold indicators. So this is the Queen Bess gold vein. Once again, here's that copper. And then the orange and the black is iron. That also goes along with the gold, and so does the yellow, which is sulfur. So those are just more things we look for once we get under here. But think about this, underground like this, you're just pretty much chasing that gold vein. You're not getting a lot of crap rock. So down here you can get a couple ounces of gold per ton, all the way up to 4,000 or more ounces per ton. But it might only last you a couple days, so you do have to do assays all the way through to make sure you're still producing gold. Now think about this. Okay, you can get those high concentrations of gold down here. That open pit mine up there, they're taking everything. So they're blowing up our mountains, creating new ones with that muck. They're only getting like 0.026 ounces of gold per ton, which isn't even a gram. And they're still averaging 1,000 ounces of gold per day that way.
Wow.
Yeah, talk about ridiculous.
It is.
But today they use cyanide to get that out. So what the cyanide does, the rock stays the same, but the gold that's inside there liquefies, runs to the bottom of that pile, down a pad into a containment where it undergoes more chemical processing.
What do they do with the cyanide?
They keep recycling it, but they keep saying that the cyanide content is so low, you can drink it. I don't ever see those fools up there
Yeah.
drinking their
Yeah,
water. But see what happened last summer.
drinking it.
And the only reason I can say anything now is a big article just came out in the Independent, which is one of our local newspapers. My brother and my friend are on the front of there, and that open pit mine welded the door shut on the mine where we found those crystals. And it's because they just got finished with that pad last summer where they were going to put all that muck and spray the cyanide. They ripped a hole in it. Instead of fixing it, they just covered it over and sprayed it with cyanide, and we started having a water full of cyanide coming through there.
Wow.
Once we figured out what it was and we were testing it, they welded that door shut so that nobody knew what was going on.
Oh, that's kind of,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
but they're in a big trouble right now. So,
Oops.
yeah.
On them
They
boots.
do. I mean, that's ridiculous, because if it's coming in there, what's it doing to our community?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Groundwater.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
So this is a stoper drill, and that just means we've got something to drill straight up with. But this is going to be on that board with you. So if anything goes wrong, you could go several thousand feet to the bottom of that hole with your heavy equipment on top of you. But Gardner Denver got smart, and this is the safety. When you push that, it shuts everything down, so hopefully that doesn't happen. And of course, this one's going to be loud too.
See, that's what I showed you up on that post there. Hold them deals up.
About loudest. And the reason is because when they made these rooms bigger, they gave us great acoustics down here. Oh, yeah. When they are smaller, it actually deadens all this sound. Yeah.
Thank you.
So now I get to show you guys my favorite part of the tour.
All right. That's a trip. Just in 2 deals up there.
Yeah.
You guys can scoot in a little bit more, couldn't it? So this right here, it's all right, stacked in front of each other. You guys will be able to see. But this is the Queen Bess stope, and at her widest, she's about 150 feet across, and she does go up there 800 feet. So as far as collapse goes, these are the rules. When you're mining straight up like this, you never break surface, because if you do, it'll cave in on your head. Yeah, so you leave behind 100 to 200 feet of that gold vein before surface. And between the levels, you have to leave 100 to 200 feet of that rock between each level for the saplings in. Now your miner gets up and down on that ladder, and this is the tool chute. So this is one area they hired 8 to 10-year-old boys for 50 cents a day. They called them nippers, and they did whatever the miners needed. But here, in the beginning, they had a hand crank, so they could do this by hand. But they would hook the heavy drills and stuff onto this tugger and run them off to the miners. And then, of course, eventually air was added to it. But those boys probably started crafting shit out because at the end of every shift, they had to get those honey buckets to the surface and clean it out.
Blood kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was feeling?
No, I knew there was a reason I was never one, so there it is, right there. A ladder.
So next, you guys get to write on 1930 technology that still works awesome today. So this is another air tram. You guys can sit wherever you want to. I'll get it. Alright guys, here we go. I see me.
Yes, or either, what are they called, the lovers, when you ride.
Something's about to happen anytime.
Yes, please.
All right, so I'm gonna send this back real quick, then you guys can see this workshop a little better.
Oh, we did already go about that.
Yeah, that's the supervisor's bike, so that's what he did, was ride around and check on those miners all the time. Yeah, real tough. So this is your workshop for your tool room. You'll have one of these on every working level in your mine. That's just because it was too expensive to run that hoist any more than they had to. So if you guys notice the different floors that were lit up when we were coming down, those were our working levels at one time. They're at 200, 400, 600, 700, and our 1,000 feet. So the next thing you guys get to do is you do get to see some raw gold ore. Keep in mind, they've always said around here, if it's gold, it's fake. If it's silver, it's gold. That's because our gold ore, which is also called calaverite, color-wise looks like fool's gold. So fool's gold is nice cubes and calaverite is layers. So I'll show you what that looks like up here. Careful, it might be kind of slick. Here, do you want? So in each one of these cases, this is your raw gold ore. You're going to notice it looks different in each mine. These mines were in Cripple Creek and those ones were in Victor. You're actually in front of some of the best stuff. So all this silver that's in this rock and those silver crystals is actually your gold.
Wow.
And the Crescent mine, the reason that's some of the best stuff to come out of here, they did a series of shows. For 4 weeks, they were averaging 4,000 ounces of gold per ore car.
Looks like, for real, that looks like that?
No, it's gonna be those other ones that are in there. That one is just there because. No, think of it when,
Oh, I see.
that whole lava came through, and that was an open cavern. All it did was it coated the inside of that. So whatever was left there is what was growing.
How much you throw away.
Yeah, because think about this, that was full of these right here.
Wow. Huh.
Now, if you guys turn around, that's Mollie Kathleen's case you're in front of, but look at B and G. Those are great pieces of surface gold, so she did find some of that rare stuff. But she also made history because as a woman back then, you were just a piece of property. You couldn't own it. And the cool thing about that is she wasn't even here looking for gold. She just came here to visit her son Perry. He was an assayer here, and she was out hiking. So when she, yeah, isn't that crazy? So when she found that surface gold, she knew what she had, but when she went to the claims office, they told her, you're a woman, you can't sign this paperwork. That didn't stop her though, she signed it anyways.
Gigi's right.
And the funny thing is when she was leaving, she just turned around and told him, if you have a problem with this, you take it up with my husband, he's a claims attorney. So she was the first woman in this gold camp to stake her claim and one of the first in the country.
Really?
Very smartly.
So all the little tiny fine crystals we saw, not the Epsom salts, but the little tiny ones that you can kind of see, is that gold?
Probably not what we saw in the tour, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Now think about this. Okay, so 1,000 feet seems real deep to most people.
Right.
The deepest mine here was the Ajax mine over in Victor. They went down 3,350 feet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but think about this. It was about 90 degrees in there all the time, and there were 3 different levels. They pumped water out, so it was a hot, humid mess in there.
Wow. What do they do about the pressure? I mean, you know, like if you're in the ocean and you go down too far, You've got to deal with the pressure. Well, I would think you'd have to deal with the pressure underground too.
Not really. No.
Water pressure was that.
Maybe
No.
so.
I've been pretty deep in these mines, never had any issues.
No, we were deep.
That we know of, yeah. Except for whatever's going on with me right now. That could be those papers that say I'm crazy. So, before we get out of here, this is the raw gold ore. You guys all get to have a piece of this, so go ahead and pick one of those out.
One can see better than I can.
I'm gonna go find.
Big chunk out there.
Yeah, which one do you want, Bennett?
That is all right.
That one? Yeah, I just want that, yeah.
He's mentioned it. It's dark.
Hey, I like the sound of that. Looks like you should just throw it on your driveway, huh?
Yeah.
That's probably where it comes from, isn't it?
It came from my driveway this time.
Welcome.
All right.
That's what I was doing.
Thank you. Of course, thanks for coming.
Thank you. How we go? So we're back at the whoa. So this is the other side of the beam we came down on.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, we're back.
Whoa, that's
Right, back
great.
at the beginning, we must have did a
Just do the same.
loop, must have done a loop round, yeah.
That's cool.
Think this will be enough to pay off the car?
Perhaps the whole barrel full.
In your country, might be. In ours, no. Definitely not. In ours, you'd probably need the full truck.
Yep, and some.
And some. Won't we, love?
Oh yeah.
That's what it would be like to look down that open shaft. It's only about 200 feet down there.
Look at it.
It's never the fall they get you, it's the sun.
That's where you find some air buddies.
That's right.
What Dad always said.
You see yourself falling.
So this whole piece of equipment here, this is the winds or the sinking bucket. All this does is haul ore all day long. Now that ore bucket down there, that holds about a ton, just like your ore cars do. But this whole thing is worked smarter, not harder at its finest. That's what I love about
There
it.
you go.
That's it.
So if you guys just step back
Yes, sir.
and take a little bit, I'll show you how this works. That gold dust is getting to you, huh?
Go, Bill.
Yeah, cold feeder.
Beautiful circle technology. It was amazing what
Was
they
the
came up
engineer.
with.
Yeah.
So the stope that's above us here is the Mollie Kathleen stope, and she goes up there about 800 feet right underneath our parking lot. That makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, right?
Yeah, especially with being a hiker.
No, it's going to be bagging it, never mind the car.
I knew it, I'll be losing. You did growing
That must have been the lunch area.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, it's
Right area.
picnic area. You should have brought sandwiches.
Yeah, I'd love to sit down there and have lunch.
I know, when we go mining, these guys always made fun of me because I'll bring stuff. We'll make sandwiches down there or whatever. If you're down there all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so one day I made, it was bomb. I made some barbecued beef and it cooked for all day and the next morning. And I took it with us and they were making fun of me.
Until
Until they had it. You know what? 'Cause their thing was, there's dirt down here. Yes, you do get a little bit of dirt and everything, but what's the big deal? You got that all day long anyways. Yeah, so there might change a little bit.
I'm sure it did.
But this brings us to our bell system. Now this is the most important part of the mine because back then our bells were the only way that they could talk to our voicemen up there. But when there were 500 mines here, they all had their own system. So there were lots of deaths and accidents due to miscommunication. Yeah. And that's why this came about. But what I like about this is it was created right here. But believe it or not, this is still a worldwide system in use today, which is very impressive. It's kind of like Morse code. You leave a space between your numbers. He has a bell and a light just like this up in the hoist house. I've got the call bell here and the command bell inside the cage. Whenever I ring those, this is what he gets all the way up there. So a 2 would have just told him to lower us down, but what got us all the way down here was a 2532. That told him 3 things. The 25 told him we wanted the 10th level. The 3 told him we're on, run slow, and then the 2 just told him to lower us. Now he already knows where we're at, so I just have to ring a 3-1 to take us to the surface. That tells him we're on, run slow, and take us all the way to the top. So
you've really got to know your bells.
Hope everybody had a book.
Yeah.
Because
Everybody
think
had a
about
book
this.
coming up.
If
Yeah.
somebody's half in or half out and those cages get dropped or pulled, that's going to be really bad. And it could be just from somebody ringing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Don't stutter.
So the 20th level, you
Yeah.
have a 20th level? I can't.
In this mine, no.
Oh, okay.
Since this is a worldwide system, the original one of these actually went up to 35 levels.
There's the qualification.
Now, we could climb out of here. So,
That sounds like fun.
right? It would only take us about 2 hours.
Well, I'd probably be the last one to do a lot longer than
We'll drop down sandwiches.
Up and down.
to finish the course.
Hey, it would be a great workout.
It would, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the way
I won't need to go to the gym, that's one thing.
those ladders, it's actually a series of ladders. They go about 15, 20 feet, hit a platform, do that all the way up. So we would have places to rest, but yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna load the same way we did on the surface. Whoever loaded first up there, you're gonna load first down here. But let me call these cages down and then I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always mess with me.
See you on top.
The nail did already.
All right, so just my first group, come and put your puzzle back together for me.
All right.
All right, I'll be right back. You might be surprised though. Because that air trap that we rode on, that's actually called the Shirley Johnson trap. Now, he was one of our miners down here. Nobody made fun of him because he was 6'6", 280 pounds. I'll see you guys up there on the circuit.
More coming.
All right, guys, now it's us.
Go down. All right.
Go, guys. Hopefully up and not down into that
Yeah.
water, huh?
I do a fancy wet
Especially not that cold, and it would be stinky too.
feet. Oh, no, don't want that. So why is that water down there?
Just from the water that filters through all the time, that's where it accumulates in this mine.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Definitely really stinky.
Oh yeah, lots of minerals.
I don't fancy that.
No, me neither. I think being cold would make me mad more than anything.
Well, yeah, I think cold and wet.
Yes. All right, well, now we're above Cripple Creek again.
Oh, God.
Where's our 200? So we're almost there. All right, here in a couple seconds, it's going to be really bright. Right. Wow, it should be happening over here.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, if you just put your hard hats in that bucket over there.
Thank you.
You guys are free to go. So this is how I keep count with you guys. That means that you made it out of here.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You have a good
That's
day.
been awesome. Thank you.
My purse is in my bag.
Jen.
All right.
I want to take a picture of you two for mine.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Certainly.
I've got a picture of you.
Probably. Put your camera down there.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, Leonard went to Pawnee, so.
Oh, did he?
All right, well. There you are. Yeah. Oh, he's coming back now, so I'll have to go four of you.
Don't break that camera, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Just wow. Anyway, we're going to head to Colorado Springs now and then get some grub because we're starving.